have their day in court in front of the Select Committee.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Jonathan Young.
Mr Speaker, I'm very happy to stand and speak on this member's bill presented by the Honourable Leanne Dalzell, who was chair of the Commerce Committee in the last parliamentary term, and it was a very good committee that was able to work very well together. But before I come to what I want to say, I would like to say tēnā koe e tā mana whakara. Tēnā tātou te whare.
No, that's wrong.
Whakanui te wiki o te reo Māori. Mr Speaker, it's very good to celebrate Maori Language Week. And the honourable member across the way obviously feels that he is incredibly fluent and knows. I cannot wait to hear him stand and greet us in te reo. Mr Speaker, this bill was introduced by Leanne Dalzell in April 2010, perhaps at a time when there was a need for it, but perhaps not the need now, as she has commented on, because of the Financial Markets Authority Act 2011, which has come into place and has established the Financial Markets Authority on the 1st of May 2011. The authority has been in operation for just over a year, and from all accounts, from what I hear in the sector, is achieving very good results and has certainly been in this first year a well-respected authority and is able to bring through the regulations and enforcement of those regulations, of course, that is necessary. Mr Speaker, National doesn't support this bill because the Financial Markets Authority are doing a very good job in covering the aspects that the member has raised. The current law is sufficient to deal with the legitimacy or otherwise of legal settlements, and there is no need for legislative change. The instance which the honourable member raised regarding the ING situation, of course, did take some considerable time and attention of the committee, and I believe back in that time there was very genuine concern about the matters which the member raised. We were very pleased to be reported to by the Commerce Commission on the satisfactory resolution to the claims of people who had invested with ING, and indeed the Commerce Commission acknowledged the cooperation of ANZ National and ING throughout their investigation of that situation and the settlement discussions. And so the Commerce Commission were able, in their capacity, to bring through a resolution which they said was the biggest resolution, most successful resolution that they have undertaken in their history. So that does go to show that they were effective and brought quite a degree of satisfaction to those members of the ING Frozen Fund group. So, Mr Speaker, the purpose for which the bill was drafted, and back in that time we acknowledged that there was genuine purpose, concerns over the compensation received by ING investors, they have been resolved. And, Mr Speaker, we have now a situation where, through the Financial Markets Authority, that we have a very good regulator who is able to step into situations and bring some direction and some resolution. We also know that the corporate trustees who act as watchdogs in these issuer funds have progressed in terms of the Securities Trustees and Statutory Supervisors Act, which came into force on the 1st of October 2011, where all current corporate trustees must back in that time had to apply for a licence within 1 month of that enactment in order to receive a 1-year temporary licence. And so the supervision of the supervisors, the licence that they have to the FMA brings in a regulatory system which we believe is more than adequate to meet the needs and the challenges and the concerns that the member has raised. Mr. Speaker, to the extent that the bill was drafted as a response to a problem, the action taken by regulators demonstrates that there is no such issue that required resolution, nor do we believe that this is a widespread issue that requires further legislation. We believe that matters and legislation and regulation and the enforcers of those regulations are working very satisfactorily. So, Mr. Speaker, we also know that, for example, yesterday in this House, 2 further commerce bills were passed their first reading in order to strengthen our finance sector, and these are coming to the Commerce Committee tomorrow. And what they do, of course, is ensure that there is an opportunity for overseas people to set up New Zealand companies and use those for nefarious and criminal activity, strengthening our robustness here and ensuring that our reputation as a country stands up. And of course, we also passed in the first reading the cartel and other matters bill so that we could ensure, Mr. Speaker, that there is integrity in terms of competition in this country. So over these last few years, the National-led government has been working very strongly under the initial leadership of the Honourable Simon Power and then the leadership now of Honourable Craig Foss to bring some real robustness to our financial markets. Establishing that one-stop shop, the Financial Markets Authority is the real kingpin that will bring a sharper focus on enforcing the law. Bringing that tighter oversight is absolutely necessary and essential that investors in this country can have confidence. And one thing that with the financial companies collapses that happened, what this bill is essentially looking at in terms of, well, some aspects of that, the contracting out component particularly, one of the things that did in terms of people losing their life savings is erode confidence. Look, we know, Mr. Speaker, that confidence is absolutely essential in order for investment to come into this country and so that business can have capital that would continue to see resources come to the business in the marketplace. So, Mr. Speaker, our considered opinion is that we already have in place legislation, we already have in place entities, we already have in place changes to our legislative regulatory framework which are going to address all the issues that the Honourable Member's bill is proposing. And so, Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, I would commend the member for what she has done and just say that she was a very good chair of that committee and obviously has a lot of experience. But, Mr. Speaker, we aren't supporting this bill. Thank you.
Charles Chauvel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.